Welcome to Smash Writing. I'm Paul. This is Justin. Today we are reviewing Goldeneye. The,
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum.
Now you see Justin is super excited.
It's been a year and a half in the waiting.
What are you talking about? I still got so much more time to go. Um, it has been a very bumpy ride, but we have had some good points up to this point. Timothy Dalton films. I think
Yeah.
we gave him good reviews on. It was a nice rebound from the
Roger
Moore saga that started good, ended bad. I don't think we love Sean Connery at all.
I think we can, before this, we named the good ones. It was the two Moores. Oh,
Yep.
two more. The two
Dalton.
Daltons.
Yep.
Man with the Golden Gun.
Yep.
And Your Majesty's Secret Service.
Was that the one with George Lazenby?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's it. That's the end of the list of the good
I mean,
ones.
these been really
Bad.
bad.
They've been real bad.
And I feel like how this series probably got to this point where this was like the 15th film or whatever blows my mind or whatever. But as you know, Justin has been super excited to get to, because this is his Bond. I was going to say, God,
No.
don't tell me you wore a hat. That was like some type
That would
of
have been great. Just pierce his face on the hat.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't see it in the camera. He's celebrating the Eagles' win there.
That's right. The Eagles did win last night. Eagles team rules.
You better hope.
We said last night, this is going up tomorrow. It's not. This is going up in 2 weeks.
Maybe they'll win.
Hopefully they'll win again.
So it will make sense. But without further ado, get into the plot.
This movie opens up with
Going
James
hardcore
Bond.
without
We're
the
going to try
notes.
to note out the notes.
He's going without the notes, peeps.
James Bond infiltrating a dam in USSR territory. And he breaks in, he meets up with 006 Alex Trevelyan. And together they start planting some bombs around, but the alarms go off. And then Alex is captured and killed by Oromov.
Mm-hmm.
And Bond cuts the timers on the bombs to half, and he just barely makes it out into the title card. We jump ahead a few years later. He's
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
He's on a drive. He's being evaluated for his duty. And he turns that into a car chase, which turns into an intimate moment with the evaluator before he ends up at a casino where we meet the woman he was racing in the other car playing Baccarat. Her name is Xenia on the top.
Say that 10 times.
They trade games of victories, and then she goes to leave, and she ends up leaving with an admiral. He follows them for as long as he can until they get on a boat and drive off, speed away. Which is really bad because he misses death by thighs. He does make it aboard the boat the next day, but by the time he realizes what is going on, she has stolen the admiral's ID card. Her and associate board another boat, and there's still a stealth plane which can fly under the radar and not be just taken down by anything electronical. And that's when he returns back to HQ, where we meet the new M. They're going over what the plane had been spotted in Russian territory at the site of Severna.
There you go.
And we're flipping between them and the Russian base, where we meet Natalia and Boris. They're two programmers working on Project Goldeneye, or Petya, I believe. Petya. Boris is a classic hacker, though. He's having fun. He likes making crude puzzles and all that. After spiking an American facility, he goes out for smoke, and that's when the spy plane touches down. Orlov and Xenia come in, and because of his clearance in the Russian military, he's able to get the key and the access codes, and then Xenia opens fire, killing everyone except Natalia, who's hiding in the break room. They set Goldeneye afire on the site. While being watched, not in real time or anything, but back at HQ, Bond and them were talking about Goldeneye, the fact they don't believe that the Russians had the money to have it. they are watching when the satellite is taken out and their lasers feed. And back at the base, these two jets were coming because one of the programmers set off an alarm. But the Goldeneye takes out the jets too, and they crash into the satellite dish, leaving Natalia to climb out alone. And she manages to get spared because she finds some sled dogs. But her leaving is spotted on the camera by Bond and the crew, who now know Goldeneye is a real thing, and Bond thinks that the Giannis group has something to do with it. And him and M kind of trade barbs. They don't really respect each other. He thinks she's an accountant, and she thinks he's a misogynist dinosaur. But she agrees to send him after Goldeneye, collect it, get it back, but stay away from Orlov, who they believe is behind Giannis and is behind Goldeneye. Don't make it personal, collect the stuff, and get out. So off to Russia he goes. Meanwhile, Natalia, who's made it back to civilization from where she was, gets in contact with Boris, and Boris sets up a meeting at a church in an hour, which is bad news for her because Boris is the inside man and she's captured. Meanwhile, Bond meets Jack Wade. Did you recognize Jack? I told you he would be coming back.
No.
Yeah, that actor played another agent in the first. Is either the first Dalton or the last Moore movie? I can't remember which one.
Okay.
But he's back. I think he's a different person. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, I don't.
But he's Bond's CIA meetup, who puts him in touch with Valentine, an ex-KGB officer that Bond shot in the leg years prior. I love the fact that one of the first things Valentine does is try to shoot him in the leg.
I mean, I feel like it's only fair.
Yeah.
When you first come in contact with him, like, well.
He takes 3 shots at him before Bond offers a deal. And the deal will work out where Valentine will get cash and let Giannis know that Bond is looking for him and where the meeting will take place so Giannis can send men after Bond. Bond will know it's a trap and be able to get that person to lead him back to Giannis. Well, Valentine is now owed a favor by Giannis and gets cash. So Valentine agrees. And they send Xenia. A fight ensues, but Bond gets the upper hand and she takes him to Giannis, who turns out to be Alex Trevelyan. They get some back and forth before Bond is knocked out, and they're left in the spy copper, and they just manage to escape it before a missile hits it. But they're captured by the Russian defense. And they meet up with Michkin, who does not like Orlov. And Natalia tells him that it was Orlov who was behind it all along, who comes in and shoots Michkin in the guard, planning on framing Bond for the murders. But Bond turns the upper hand and they escape. They're about to escape the building, but Natalia falls through the floor and gets captured, and he just manages to make it outside. But he chases after Orlov and Natalia in a tank. And then that chase leads to them on a train, which Bond shoots with his tank and derails. He boards it, and this is the end of Orlov, but they get trapped inside. But while he's lasering them on way out of the train before it explodes, she finds out that they're in Cuba, so it is off to Cuba they go, thanks to Jack Wade helping them out. And they're met with Xenia almost immediately, but they manage to take care of her before infiltrating the station, where another Goldeneye is being set up. And it's being set to fire on London to exact revenge for what they did to Alex's family and rob the banks of England. Bond gets captured right away. Natalia, though, stays hidden long enough to mess with the rocketing systems, which is taking the Goldeneye satellite back into orbit. Boris can fix it, but he has to crack her code. And while he's doing that, he's stress pressing the grenade pen. And when he finally does the 3 clicks, Bond whacks it away and it explodes. And this is where it sets off where Natalia gets away and she gets to a helicopter. Bond and Alec is fighting on top of the dish because Bond wants to take out the transmitter before Boris can crack her code. And it ends with Bond purposely dropping Alec off the transmitter onto the dish. Natalia picking him up off the helicopter that she's holding the pilot at gunpoint. And Boris survives the explosions that are taking place, but gets frozen by nitrogen that dumps all over him?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they crash into a field, and it looks like it's going to end on an intimate moment when Jack Wade shows up, and they find out they're surrounded by Marines. And the movie ends with them flying away. And that, no notes.
No notey. Can you guys tell that? Okay. You haven't seen the Daniel Craig films.
I saw Skyfall in the one after.
Okay. And of course, we've been watching all these films. You've talked about Goldeneye for like years.
Yes.
The game, etc., everything. Your thrill of remembering this plot in details without your notes, he did not look. Are we saying this is your favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Although, Tomorrow Never Dies is close second.
now that was the last Pierce Brosnan one, right?
No, that's Die Another Day.
Okay. So, are we going to guess your grade real quick? Let's just...
Well, we'll save that for the end.
Okay. No, I just want
I want to hear your opinions on Goldeneye.
Okay. For a good while now, we haven't had a Bond film where you could follow the plot from beginning to end. Like, you had moments where you're like, you kind of knew what was going on, then you almost had to, like, read what was going on. This is really, like, one of those ones where I got the vibe, like, I could follow the plot all the way through, from start to finish. They did a good job at twists and turns, like, making it sure you understood the plot, but then kept the mysteries and all of that. I did enjoy Sean Bean as 006 Alex.
Alec Trevelyan.
Yeah. I think in hindsight, it kind of gave it away, like, because Sean Bean is like one of those people that made a living off of his characters dying.
Yeah.
Like, he dies. So, but it felt weird because I'm like, at some point, this mofo shouldn't be dying in movies. Where did his reputation start?
Probably here.
So when they killed him off, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is not it. And then bringing him back was, a good little touch. I did enjoy the back and forth. Like, it seemed like a couple of scenes where 006 knew that 007 was going to find a way to escape.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was like the train going in the tunnel or something like that, where like 006 had like backup plan after backup plan. Because like didn't he like fire like a grenade or something, a grenade launcher or something? Like wasn't he outside the tracks when the train wrecked or something?
No.
What? It just seemed like
he was bracing himself inside the train.
Okay, like it just felt like he knew how good 007 was.
Yeah, he treated like 007 as the threat he is.
Yeah. This is my first introduction, really, fully, let me say, to seeing Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. I think you're starting to see the perfect Bond, where he is going to give you that shoot first mentality, but he's a good at like investigating.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's the best. I'm just saying he's
actually a spy. He feels like he's sneaking into enemy territories.
Right, and I don't think we've really gotten that.
We got some out of Dalton.
Yeah, I mean,
but this feels like a good improvement on what Dalton left.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm at to this point.